And I'm an asshole, and that's okay. I piss people off, and it makes my day. Welcome to another episode of John Sees the World. Or is it John Sees the World? We still haven't figured that one out. It's been over 30 episodes, almost 40. And we're probably never going to figure that one out. But that's okay. Yes, it is. Okay, so it's getting near Thanksgiving here in San Antonio, Texas. Beautiful outskirts of San Antonio, Texas. Well, we're going to say beautiful here regardless. I mean, we did choose to live here, whether we wanted to or not, is the point. But we did choose to live here, so we'll call it beautiful outskirts of San Antonio, Texas. Now, I'm not a Texas boy myself. I'm from Michigan. A little place called Saginaw, Michigan, 100 miles north of Detroit. Nowadays, the local residents refer to it as Sag Nasty. That's another story. I suggest you Google it and you'll learn a little bit more about it. My mother was born in San Antonio, Texas. She was born over on the southeast side by the aqueduct, actually within a stone's throw of the aqueduct. There's a hill there by the aqueduct across the street from it. And up on that hill is a house. And behind that house is a shack. And in that shack is where my mother was born back in the late 1930s. Now, of course, Mom has departed since then. Mom left in 2012, I guess it was. And we've missed her since then. So she was a native Texan. My father was born in Corsicana, Texas, about 50 miles south of Dallas. So he too is a native Texan. And if you followed the show, you'll know the history behind our family and how it ended up in Michigan. Well, how both of them ended up in Michigan, ended up being married. And me being born in Michigan, my brother Joseph was born in Michigan. My brother Chris was born at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. And my sister, Margaret, she was born in Elmendorf Air Force Base, Alaska. We were a military family. So for us, Thanksgiving was sort of a hit and miss in the early years, I guess you'd say. When we were kids, for us, Thanksgiving was somewhere, that little holiday between Christmas and Halloween that we didn't quite understand. I don't remember having a turkey when I was little. We probably couldn't afford it. I know my dad would, on a regular basis, him and Mom would have to pawn Mom's wedding ring to get him through the month. And then at the end of the month, when he got paid, by the service, he would go out and he would go and get Mom's ring out of Hawk. That's just the way things work back then. when you're an airman with 3 kids and barely able to feed them to begin with. I do remember as a child in Alaska, Mom would serve dinner, and one of the first things I would come out with is, "Where's the meat?" And then be told by Dad to shut up and eat my beans. Yeah, kids, man, they don't appreciate a damn thing. No, they don't. They don't understand. But then who expects them? Oh, my wire. Oh, let's go off on a tangent here. My wire, I'm wired in it. No. Anyways, I don't think Thanksgiving became a big thing until we moved to Michigan the first time at Selfridge Air Force Base and we left Alaska. Selfridge Air Force Base is still there, by the way. It's a Air National Guard base now. Back then, it was an active duty base, a SAC base, if I remember right. And home was only 100 miles away. Home being at the time Saginaw, Michigan. Sagnasty, shout out to you, all my cousins and aunts and uncles there. Um, then it started to become a thing. You know, turkey, potatoes, the pies and biscuits and everything included in it. You know, because that was when we first met. Well, my brother, my sister, and I first met our parents' families. We didn't know them for a number of years because we were always gone, always at another air base someplace. Now, while we were at Selfridge, my youngest brother, Joseph, was born. He was born in Michigan. That's the other one I told you about. He's a native Michigan. Now, Chris, he's a native Illinoisan, but he'll say he's from Michigan. And God love him, that's great, man. He identifies with being from Michigan. Go Wolverines! Spartans. That's just the way it is. But anyways, Thanksgiving was, slowly became something important to us because of our families. And we'd go down during the holidays and spend, time with them and eat turkey and all the trimmings and such. And after Selfridge Air Force Base, we were there for about, I don't know, 2.5 years. We were stationed down in down here in San Antonio, Texas, at Randolph Air Force Base. Now, Randolph Air Force Base did not have housing, at least no housing for us. And we ended up having to live on, quote, the economy. We had to find a house to live in. So my parents bought a house. It wasn't much. It was a little 3-bedroom house, with a butane tank in the back. And the sewer system was, what is that? A septic tank in the ground and such. And we lived there for 5 years. But they were a good 5 years. Yeah. We met a lot of friends there. I made a lot of friends there that I know to this day. My parents made a lot of friends there that became lifelong friends for them as well. And as a result, Thanksgiving was, still pretty important. The only difference being is that with our turkey, we had tamales. Being a Mexican family and being in San Antonio, Texas, that's how it worked. Now, one of the cool things about being in San Antonio, Texas, is that the World's Fair came to the United States and opened in San Antonio, Texas, on what are now known as the Hemisphere Grounds. They opened on August 6th, 1968. I remember that date distinctly because August 6th was my youngest brother Joseph's birthday. And the draw-in for, part of the draw-in for the Hemisphere was that if you were born on the day that the Hemisphere opened, then you were you had available to you a meal in the restaurant in the Hemisphere. I forget what they call it now. Christ, this happens a lot when you get old. The Hemisphere Tower, and of course the tower itself spins around 360 degrees the whole time. It was based on a World War II battleship 16-inch gun mount base. So the entire top of the tower would spin around and around, at a very slow rate. And you could see things from up there, different parts of the city and such, as it spun. As a someone going to college in his late teens, early 20s, I remember taking my youngest brother up there one time, Joseph. He and I went up there, and I treated him to dinner up there. At the time, it was run by a restaurant called Jim's. He thought it was pretty cool, just sitting up there and going round and around and around. And then another time when I was dating a woman in my 40s who was also in her 40s, I took her 13-year-old son up there for his birthday, and he got a big kick out of it, and we were up there in the middle, at night. It was dark, and seeing the different parts of San Antonio as the thing went around, the lights and everything. And then about 9 o'clock, the Fiesta started shooting off its fireworks. Not Fiesta, but SeaWorld. SeaWorld started shooting off its fireworks as it does every year during the summer, to announce the end of the day, and everybody had to leave. And that was interesting. So, anyways, this August 6th, 1968, I misspelled Joey, and I always remember that. After San Antonio, we ended up back in Michigan again. This time at Ward Smith Air Force Base, about 100 miles north of Saginaw. Ward Smith Air Force Base and K.I. Sawyer and Kinchlow are no longer there. Those bases are gone now. They've turned into private city property now, I suppose. Last I heard, Ward Smith was turned into a condo community. The way the housing was set up back then at Ward Smith Air Force Base, it was set up like streets of apartment complexes that people lived in. So now they're condos. Well, back then when we were living here, of course, Thanksgiving was pretty important as well. Because once again, we could go back home to Saginaw, spend time with our family, my dad's family, my mom's family, and have Thanksgiving dinner. And of course, the adults would drink and, beer. The adults would drink, and the kids would have sodas and have a good meal and play games and laugh and carry on and do stupid kid stuff that, generally annoyed the adults and got them somewhat aggravated from time to time. But that's what kids are for. At least that's what I thought kids were for. After Ward Smith Air Force Base, well, we literally ended up in Turkey, the country of Turkey. Where's the perfect place to have a Thanksgiving meal? Turkey. Right. I honestly cannot remember if we had a turkey while we were stationed at Turkey. I know we ate a lot of lamb. It was pretty much the accepted meal at the time. It was much more prevalent than beef. Not that you couldn't get beef at the base commissary and such, and chicken and all the regular stuff. You could, but mostly we ate a lot of lamb. After I learned how to eat lamb and found that I enjoyed it very much. Well, needless to say, we came. Well, I came back about 6 months early, back to Saginaw, Michigan. And then the rest of the family showed up about 6 months later when my dad's tour of duty was over in Turkey. And they were being stationed at Lackland Air Force Base, San Antonio, Texas again. At which point I joined up with them again. Ended up coming back down to San Antonio. Worked for a year, started going to college afterwards. And Thanksgiving became a important meal again with turkey in it. Now, the thing I liked about Thanksgiving most is not so much the meal as it was the company. As the years went on here in San Antonio, relatives started from Saginaw started gravitating more and more towards San Antonio. More and more of them were showing up and starting to live here. And to me, that meant that we were obligated regardless of who felt what, to have when Thanksgiving came around, you had a Thanksgiving meal and you invited all the relatives in town living there and everybody got together. Now, some years it was great. Some years, we'd have a house full of people. It was a small house, only about 900 square feet, maybe 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And sometimes we'd have 20, 30, 40 people in there just jammed in, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and laughing our asses off and just having a good time being around family, telling old tales and old lies and new tales and new lies. I remember distinctly during one family get together of that sort, somebody was videotaping it with a camcorder, which was a new product at the time. I wish I had the VHS tape, or a copy of the tape myself because it was great. Imagine I'm standing by the front door of the house, and there's like 30, 35 people in the house, in the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, down the hallway, all standing around talking, drinking beer or whatever, and laughing and having a good time. And my brother Christopher is standing next to me. And I nudge Chris in the ribs and I go, "Watch this." And he goes, "What?" I turned around, faced the door, and said, "Hey, everybody." Everybody in all these rooms and the people in the hallway came out, looked at me. I turned, and as I faced the door, I dropped my pants and I moaned them. And of course, my brother Chris is, oh God, no. Oh, hell with it. He turns around and he moons them too. So they got a double moon that night. And it was videotaped. God, I wish I had that. Double moon for Thanksgiving. Yeah. So if you've got this idea that I don't want to go to Thanksgiving, I don't want to spend time with my family, oh, to hell with that. That's a bunch of bullshit. No. Because see, there were years when Thanksgiving, my dad would be like, I don't want to do it this year. Mom, I don't want to do it this year. And somehow I'd convince them to do it. It ended up being a great time. Do it anyways. If nothing else, you'll have those fond memories of the good times you had at Thanksgiving. Well, people are standing around, eating, laughing, drinking, and enjoying each other's company. And if you're lucky, very lucky, wink, wink, two brothers will turn around and moon you with their big fat asses. So for everybody out there, happy Thanksgiving. I know it's 2 days away. No, 3 days. Well, no, it's 2 days away. It's Tuesday now. It's 2 days away. Spend time with your family and learn to love each other. Even if you hate each other, love each other. And with that, I'm done for the night. I've put out my Thanksgiving message. And just remember, I'm an asshole and that's okay. I piss people off and it makes my day. Now watch, I'm going to do it upside down.